Welcome to another postgraduate live stream. This postgraduate live stream is all about postgraduate research opportunities at DMU. So if you are watching and if you have any questions, we're going to be here for the next 30 minutes. So please drop us a comment, let us know you're watching, and hopefully we'll be able to answer any questions you may have. I am going to be your host. My name's Georgia and I'm from the Faculty of Business and Law Marketing team. Now I'm going to be your host, but I'm not the expert on postgraduate research, so I had to bring along an expert with me. So I'd like to welcome to our stream Dr. Lipika Deka. Hi Lipika, thank you very much for joining us. So
hi Georgia, thank you for having me.
It's lovely to have you as well, Lipika. So as we say, Lipika is the expert on this stream of all things research. So Lipika, can you just start by giving people just an introduction to who you are and what your role is at DMU?
Okay. Hi everybody, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. As Georgia says, I'm Lipika, and I am a senior lecturer in computer science. And as a senior lecturer, part of my work is doing research. I work on software update algorithms for autonomous vehicles, as well as artificial intelligence technique for optimizations of various things. And I do a little bit of teaching, but on top of it, I am the faculty head of research students for the Faculty of Computing, Engineering, and Media. And as part of this role, I basically am responsible for the strategic recruitment of PGR students, as well as responsible for their journey within DMU, so that like from admissions to the time they complete and go off looking at their well-being, so that the students can get through the milestones in time, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
That's perfect. Thank you very much. I told you I was going to bring an expert along with me, and Lipika definitely is that person. So, Lipika, to start off with, could you give us a little bit of an introduction as to what postgraduate research is, what it's like at DMU, and the pathways that you may like, how you may get to do a research program at DMU?
Okay. Thanks, Georgia. Let's talk about what postgraduate research is all about. So as opposed to the postgraduate teaching or any other teaching courses, postgraduate research basically involves individual research. So it's basically your own contribution to research, and in doing so, advancing the technology or advancing knowledge. And this advancement in knowledge and the contribution is based on the knowledge that has been generated thus far. So there is some sort of novelty in your work that you will be doing during the postgraduate research. Now, there are various ways of getting to this stage. Many come from right from their undergraduate degree into research. You could even most actually come from after a master's degree, or even having industrial experience. You could come after working in the industry or academia or the government to do a postgraduate research degree. Now, there are various programs that you can enroll yourself in depending upon what your needs are. And I'll just highlight a few of them. So there is the Master of Philosophy. Then we have got the MA or MSc by research. We also have the Doctor of Philosophy or the PhD degree, which can be done through various ways, like concurrent publication, through as an international PhD, which you can stay in your own country or wherever you are, and you could do it in that way without coming to DMU and doing it within the DMU, inside DMU. Then, of course, you have got the professional doctorate as well. Now, for all these PGR programs, the admission is usually, or the entry times are usually 3 times a year. You have got the 1st of October, the 1st of January, and the 1st of April. And to be able to be considered in any of these entry points, you need to complete all your formalities. That means applying, getting accepted at least 2 months before these dates. Then the qualification, I think Georgia and the team will be letting you know where exactly, or the link to the qualification, what you need to do. But in general, it is usually an minimum upper second class honors. And if you are from a non-English speaking country, then you need to have a 6.5 IELTS score. And also, once you have entered, depending upon the degree that you have enrolled, it might take you a number of sort of a varied length of time to finish it. For example, your MPhil, if you have joined as a full time, that'll be around 12 to 24 months. It's for a part time, you can complete between 24 to 48 months. Similarly, for a PhD, it will take you between 3 years to 4 years if you can do it full time, or from 4 years to 6 years if you are doing it part time. So I think that is more or less tells you what research is, what are the different sort of streams, and also how you can get into it. So the different pathways to get into research. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Lipika. So the next sort of thing that I'd like to speak about, and I think it's quite important to talk about, is sort of like the expertise and the academic expertise and the research expertise that we have at DMU. So I know one of the very exciting things for me is we have the Stephen Lawrence Research Centre. Can you just give us a little bit of an insight as to what other, talking about Stephen Lawrence Research Centre as well, what other options we have available at DMU?
Okay. So basically, when you are starting to look to do a PGR degree or a postgraduate research, within DMU, we have got 4 faculties. And these faculties are your arts, design, and humanities. You've got your business and law. You've got your computing, engineering, and media. And of course, you have got your health and life sciences. Now, within these different faculties, you have got research institutes. Now, for example, arts, design, and humanities have got 5 research institutes, and the research that they do here ranges from architecture, sustainable cities, to dance, history, and English. So it's very, very varied. Similarly, business and law has got 8 research institutes. People work within these in economics, society, sustainability. Again, sustainability basically comes in each almost every research institute, and we value sustainability and sustainable research, sustainable impact quite a lot. And of course, there is urban research. Then within the computing, engineering, and media, we have got 10 research institutes. They range from energy. Then we have got artificial intelligence, cybersecurity. We have got media, music, and many others. Then again, we have got the health and life sciences faculty, within which we have got around 7 research institutes, which is again ranging in a number of areas like mental health, pharmaceuticals, etc. Then, of course, sitting outside these faculties, we have got the Stephen Lawrence Research Center, which work with each of the different faculties. And one of the main areas that sort of works on its inclusivity in all sorts of possible ways. So yes, when you're applying for research within DMU, you need to see that your research aligns with one of the research institutes, or we very much encourage people to do interdisciplinary research. So your research can sit between 2 research institute or even more than that, so that we can source out supervisors from these different research institutes to get some unique work done. So yes, there is a range of work. There's a range of research institutes available to do research within DMU.
Thank you for that, Lipika. If you'd like to find out more about the research institutes that we offer at DMU, what we'll do is we'll pop a link to them in the comment, and they are just there, just below as well, which is perfect. Lipika, I understand that you've been working at DMU for a number of years. Over your time at DMU, you must have seen some quite exciting research projects. Can you just give us a little bit of insight to some of the sort of personally more interesting ones that for you?
Yes, I think in general, I think what really attracts me within DMU research is the benefits of society that everyone looks for. So it's like the betterment of the society plays a huge role in any research that we do, and that is something that's been personally very, very pleasing or satisfactory, perhaps. So it's for example, there's a lot of work going on in energy efficient homes, and it's not only in England, so to save money to again for the environmental impact, but in many developing countries as well. So that's one thing that's really interesting. That again, affordable homes. So there's big work being done within the UK for affordable homes to sort of tackle homelessness and other things like that. Then again, looking at diabetes, digital health, that features a lot. Mental health, especially within the world that we are living in, and the mental health research that many of the research are doing are really having a big impact and also adding to the knowledge within this area. And there is also looking at how do we turn waste into something good. So research being done on developing artificial limbs from waste plastics. So these are some of the very there are many others, but some that I can highlight here. Thank you.
The creating of the limbs through artificial waste was so interesting to me, and I
Yes,
couldn't believe that was happening at DMU. Was amazing, and how
it
and
was. It
just
is. It
it
is.
was it was amazing. It was great. So sort of involved in like the expertise is the research excellence framework. So can you tell us a little bit more about what that actually is and why that would matter to people?
The research excellence framework, yes. So we are basically we are sort of, at the end of one of the terms, and we are giving our inputs into the research excellence framework. So the research excellence framework is a way by which the Research England and assesses many of the research that happens within universities. And they do it through the papers that we produce from our research and also the impact that our research has. So it could be environmental impact, it could be societal impact. So it basically sees that public has been giving in a lot of money into research. How are we using that money to benefit the society at large? So a number of papers have been looked at and seen what is the contribution from these papers as well as the impact that goes in. Now, from the postgraduate research perspective, I think the postgraduate research students have a huge contribution to the REF, be it the impact case studies or the publications that we produce. So it is the research that the postgraduate students does to a large extent goes into our publication. So that is being published and that goes into the REF contributions, as well as, like, for example, it's PhD students who work on affordable homes, they work on homelessness, and hence these are the studies that creates a lot of impact case studies using which we then can sort of go into the assessment for the REF. I think that sort of is the very basic things, but of course we have got a website as well, much details.
Yeah. And if you would like to know a bit more about REF and DMU's sort of proposals for 2021, you can find all that information. It's in the comments as well. So click on there and you'll be able to find it all. As the faculty head of research students for computing engineering and media, Lipika, I know you're heavily involved with the students and the support that they receive, sort of as you mentioned, from admissions all the way up until they actually become a student. Can you just give us a little bit more of an insight as to the actual support that students would receive if they were to become a PGR student at DMU?
Okay, I think from the student support ways, we can probably divide it up into three different ways. One is your social and mental well-being, then the support given in the various administrative tasks, and the support, of course, academically. Now, as a postgraduate research student, I think we all agree that it is a work that is your own contribution. You have to find the novelty. So it's what you produce out from here is something that is very much your own, your individual contribution. But in producing this individual contribution, the support that you get, it's really great, because we have heard from all the students who come into DMU that the reason that they come in is because of our expertise, the academic expertise and the support that they get within it. So the supervisory team, it's gives immense support in helping you give that novel contribution, in sort of holding your hand through the initial stages when you're learning to do research, and so on till you actually write a thesis and submit it. Then, together with the supervisory team, you will be attached to either one of the research institute or more than one. And these research institutes then become your home away from home, to so as to say. You take part in the meetings of these research institutes, and the staff members and all the other members of these research institutes support in their own way. For example, you may be giving a presentation and of your research findings, and the feedback that you get during these presentation help you to take your work forward. So that is like sort of the academic support that you receive here. Of course, if you want to attend any lectures, and the huge library that we have, both as for online resources as well as the hard copies that we have, it's quite a lot of academic support. Then coming to the administrative support, you get it from your own faculty and your own schools, but the doctoral college plays a huge role in supporting you, and you could just walk into the doctoral college to ask any question, or even drop in an email, and they're more than happy to help you in the journey from your admission to the time you submit and give your viva and so on, because there are many milestones on the way, and the support administratively comes from doctoral college. Then, of course, you have got the societal and the mental well-being side of things, which again we have got various support within DMU, the mental health, the expertise that we have. Then again, we have got these social events that we have. Then the Montfort, the Students' Union, and there are a number of clubs that you can be in, whether it's a technical club or simple like simple anything social. There is a lot going on there. So yes, you can depend on each other as well. Peer support is huge. So I think yes, there is an all-rounded support for students who join in.
That's perfect. And as Lipika mentioned, whilst you are a PGR student, you still are a DMU student, so you do have access to My Gateway, which can help you with your physical and mental well-being. You have access to DMU Local. You can even speak to our DMU Works team as well, if you need assistance with building up your CV or just preparation for interviews. So there are there are a lot of different services that would be available to you
There's a
outside of
superb
sort of,
gym as well, a superb
yeah.
gym with a swimming pool.
Exactly. So you've got the possibilities, and the support is endless. So Lipika, what I'd like to do now was just go into a little bit of like some of our frequently asked questions. So some of the questions that we see come up time and time again, and just get those answered for students that may be watching. We're going to be here for about the next 12 minutes. So if you do have any other questions, then please pop them in the comments and we'll get those answered. Sorry, a fly just landed on my face. Sorry about that. So the first question that I've got for you, Lipika, is how would a student apply?
So for a student to apply, of course, we have got the formal process, which again, I'm sure, the link will be provided to you, by which you can, put in the formal application. But for postgraduate research, it's slightly more, there needs to be an individualistic approach, perhaps. So I think the first step that you need to do is to really, find out the area that you want to work in. And especially for a PhD degree, which is around 4 to 6 years, it can range from 3 to 6 years, and it's a huge time to invest. And one needs to be really sure that you want to do it, and you need to do it in an area that you're really interested in to be sustainable. And once you are sure which area you want to go in, then have a look at all our research institutes. Our links were given just a while ago. And then once you go in there and then see who's sort of working in that area, it may not be one research institute. You may have to look at a number of others. find out who are the staff members working in that area, contact the staff members, say what your research ideas are, and with whoever is interested, the staff member, you develop a research proposal, and then fill up the form. Within the form, you have to give your research proposal. You also have to say that yes, you have contacted such and such, and interviews will be organized. So I think that is sort of the procedure that you need to go through. And you have to be sure that if you want to get into an October entry, for example, the 1st of October, you have to start doing this at least 4 months in advance to get everything done, and the offer letter sent to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. What we'll do as well, we'll pop up a link in the comments, and it will appear in a second, of how to apply for one of our programs. There it is as well, and that is the doctoral college. On that section as well, there'll be information on how to get in touch with the doctoral college if you do need that additional support. So staying on the same issue, or not issue, staying on the same topic of an application, when a student is coming to make an application, what information will they need?
Yes, when you're coming to make an application, I think the first and foremost would be to, like I said, be sure that you know what is the area that you want to do your research in, and then do the research. Not, I don't mean research in the topic, but research of our staff members and the research institutes that we have, and what are the research that they are doing, to be able to equip yourself to make that application. And of course, you need to know the time. You need to also find out about the finances, whether you want to come as self-funded or look for financial support, whether from DMU or elsewhere. But I think the first step is basically getting in touch with a potential supervisor, and that makes things a little bit more easier than sending an application without a supervisor name on it.
Thank you for that, Lipika. So on that, say again, and we're just talking about the same sort of topics. What? How would a student? So this is sort of a double-barreled question. How would a student find a supervisor? And if they were struggling to find a supervisor that were sort of supported with their research themes, how would they go about sort of, is there anyone they need to speak to? How could they help themselves with that?
Yes, I think yes. First of all, I think overall, when you think of it, if you go into Google Scholar and then look for a topic and then give DMU with it, you will have a number of papers coming up there with the produced by DMU staff, and that is sort of the first step that you can see that what are the kind of research that we are doing. Because when we do some research, we publish it, and when we publish it, it usually comes out in Google Scholar. So if you look at give the sort of a broad topic, for example, autonomous vehicle. Give autonomous vehicle and DMU, and you might find one of my papers in there. So it's sort of starting at that range and then going down. Then, of course, within each research institute, when you go into the website, webpage of that institute, you'll have the link to each of the staff members who are part of that research institute. And once you go into the profile, you'll be able to see the type of work that they are doing. Now, if it becomes sort of too much and going down too deep into it. You might also sort of say, for example, you're interested in artificial intelligence. You go into the research institute for AI, that means, and then you look for the director, and the name will be right on top. Write to the director of that institute saying that this is the area I'm interested in. Would you please, tell me who works in this area? Could you please put me in touch with the person? So that is another way of doing it. Then again, if, say, for example, you haven't gone into any one of those, you haven't found anything, just writing to the doctoral college with a rough idea of where you want to do your research, or even applying with a proper research proposal, the doctoral college knows very well, which is the research institute this particular research fits in, and they forward that application to the research institute or the institutes if it doesn't fit into one. So these are the various ways. Again, like for example, if it is computing, engineering, and media, you're very welcome to get in touch with me, and I'll put you in touch with any of these supervisors. I'm sure we can, give up my email address somewhere.
Thank you for that, Lipika. And as Lipika mentioned, each faculty has a faculty head of research students as well. So if you are struggling, they're also like a great point of contact to have. So the doctoral college will be able to pass on their information. The next question I have for Lipika are there any examples of current PGR project titles that students are working on at the moment?
Yes, there are a few. I'll just, this is a bit long, but yes, we are quite proud of this because this particular student won the thesis prize for 2020 from Chem. So the title here is, for example, I'll just go very, very slowly so that it thinks. So it's long-term effects of thermal variation on the performance of balanced twisted pair calding. So it's very basic science, but it's applied to a thing. So it's on networking and how it is applied. So that could be one. Then there are students, for example, working on identity theft investigation, and they may base it on a certain country, or they could base it on a certain organization. Then there is also very different from all this is the review of the impact of herdsmen and farmers' activities on the environment and the economy. So you can do, they are doing a case study in a certain country. And then, of course, things like in the business area, internal control systems in SMEs. So, these are some of the examples that I can sort of give you on top of my head. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. We've only got 3 minutes left, so I'm going to try and go through more of these questions as well. So, what is the deadline for applications?
The deadline for applications, it depends upon which entry a student is aiming for. So if it is there, so like I said, we have 3 entries: the 1st of October, the 1st of January, and the 1st of April. So if you're, say, for example, aiming for the 1st of April entry, you should have applied at least 4 months in advance. It's not just applying. So once you apply, the supervisor, if you haven't got in touch with the supervisor, will get in touch with you, and then an interview will be organized. So because every PGR, it's not only your application, there has to be an interview process as well. And once the interview process is over, and only after that, it goes to the doctoral college, and doctoral college can, give you the formal offer letter. So it takes about 1.5 months from the time that you apply to get this entire process done. And we would like to get, the process done at least 1.5 months before the entry point. So yes, we would, whichever entry point you're looking at, try and apply at least 3 to 4 months before that. Thank you.
Perfect. I've only got a couple more questions for you. So, can students study part-time, or is this a full-time sort of commitment?
It's very flexible. That is why I think it's both part-time as well as full-time. And I think we can give an example of one of the case studies that is there on the website at the moment of a lady in, I think it's arts, design, and humanities. So she is a mother of 4 children, and even though she's doing full-time, there's a lot of flexibility. Coming back to the question, yes, you can do for both full-time as well as part-time. And depending whether you are doing a full-time or part-time, the duration is different. Say, for example, a PhD full-time will have to be finished within 3 to 4 years, but a part-time can stretch it up to 6 months. 6 years. And if you're doing it part-time, you you could be working somewhere, or you could be, being a carer and also doing your PhD part time. So yes, there is a lot of flexibility in all the postgraduate research programs of doing it both part time or full time.
4 children and doing her PhD.
I know, it's amazing. I read her story.
She sounds like Wonder Woman. That is amazing, and that's great to hear that that's one of our students.
Yes, we could. I don't know. I don't have the link there, but yes, her story has been highlighted.
Oh, that's amazing. So it's not a question that we would have probably been asking a year ago, but it obviously is very prominent and it is in a lot of people's minds at the moment. So, what changes will happen to students' sort of learning experience due to COVID-19?
Uh, for the students who will be coming to us, I won't be talking about the ones that who are already working with us. There has been immense support for the ones who are already studying with us. For example, there was hardship funds given. We gave interruption as well as extension because of the difficulties they have had of being unable to do their research due to COVID-19 and the lockdown. Now, moving on from here, for the new students, of course, like all other education and all other working environments, there will be a lot of difference. And I think the major difference is that it's that remote working and perhaps even remote supervision by many of the supervisors. Um, uh, it again depends. For example, there are many research that can be done remotely, and we would, I think, advise students at least in the next 1 or 2 terms to keep on doing remotely. For example, the first stage of your PhD degree is always literature review, and this can be done remotely irrespective of whichever discipline you are in. Then also the supervision in such cases will be remotely, whether it is Microsoft Teams or Skype. But that does not mean that you will be supervised less. In fact, sometimes it can go a little bit more because the student needs a little bit more support. But there are other research where you need to be able to come into the labs and conduct your research there. That is also allowed. We are already bringing in many of our postgraduate research students to assess the labs and the studios. And there has been many facilities that has been put in place to allow social distancing. We have developed rotas so that all the students are not accessing lab or a particular equipment at the same time. There are also hand sanitizers everywhere. There are also, the cleaning agents so that an equipment that has been used once is immediately cleaned before the next person comes in. And the students themselves have taken many of the responsibilities. Of course, there are the one-way systems that have been put in. Yes, there will be changes, but there has been a lot of thought that has gone in the last couple of months to make it safe for both the staff, the students, and everyone working in DMU.
Yeah, it has been. It's been quite a transformation on campus.
Yes.
Before we wrap up, Lipika, what would be your sort of number one so would there be any advice that you would give to students that are looking to start a research program, or any students about to? What would be your sort of number one piece of advice?
The number one piece of advice, it might sort of have a thing. It's a commitment, especially if you're doing a PhD, which again, like I said, if it's a full time, you can do it within 3 to 4 years, or a part time can go from 4 to 6 years. So it's a commitment of that period of time. So you really need to be certain that you want to do it and you are motivated to do it. And after that, also do it in an area you're really interested in, because whatever you do will have an impact. You'll be known for it. People will cite your research. So it's a great thing to be in there, and but be sure that you really want to do it. And once you do it, just commit yourself. And yes, it's a great place to be in.
Well, I think that's a perfect way to end this live stream. So I'd like to say a massive thank you to Dr. Lipika Deka for joining us today. Thank you for the insights, postgraduate research. It's
Thank you,
been
Georgia.
very, very informative. To everybody watching, thank you very much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. If you didn't have chance to get your questions answered, or if you're watching this back after it's live, then please feel free to get in touch with us. You can email us at inquiry@dmu.ac.uk, or you can give us a call on +44 116 255 1551 if you have any more questions or you just want to have a little chat with us. Other than that, have a lovely rest of the day, and we hope to speak to you soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.